The laughter hit me first, sharp, cutting, and unmistakably hers. I had just stepped out of a crowded conference room where the music thumped against the walls, balancing a glass of champagne in my hand, when her voice cut through the din. My fiancée, Emily, stood surrounded by her colleagues, her cheeks glowing with the soft haze of alcohol, her smile wide and careless. "He spends all day fiddling with wires and computers," she said, gesturing with exaggerated flair. "Calls himself an IT consultant, but honestly, half the time I think he just Googles solutions and pretends he's some kind of genius." The group erupted in laughter, a cruel chorus that lodged itself in my chest like a shard of glass. My throat tightened, and for a moment I wasn't sure if I'd heard correctly. But the gleam in her eyes, the smirk curling her lips, left no room for doubt. She was mocking me, mocking the career I'd built from the ground up, the thing I'd sacrificed sleep, weekends, and years of effort for. And she was doing it here, in front of strangers, with a tone that felt rehearsed, almost gleeful. My hand clenched around the glass, the stem threatening to snap. I forced myself to stay still, to breathe, to not make a scene. But inside, something fragile cracked. I stepped back into the shadows of the hallway, watching as she basked in the laughter. She didn't notice me. Or maybe she did and didn't care. When the laughter faded, she leaned in closer to one of her co-workers, a tall man with sharp cheekbones and a tie loosened around his neck. The way he touched her elbow lightly, familiarly, made my gut twist. She laughed again, softer this time, and tilted her head toward him in a way that looked far too intimate. The champagne in my hand suddenly tasted bitter. The ride home was silent. Emily slid into the passenger seat, scrolling her phone, humming faintly under her breath as though nothing had happened. The glow of the streetlights cast fleeting shadows across her face, and I couldn't bring myself to look at her. "Why so quiet?" she finally asked, not lifting her eyes. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Do you think it's funny? Making a joke out of me in front of your colleagues?" Her head turned sharply. "What are you talking about?" "At the party," I said, my voice low, almost strangled. "You call my work a joke." Said I just Google solutions. She let out a short laugh. "Oh, that? Come on, Ryan." It was just banter. Everyone was joking around. "Banter?" I repeated, incredulous. "You think humiliating me, mocking the career I built, is banter?" She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic. Don't be so sensitive." Her dismissal hit harder than the words she'd said earlier. I swallowed the anger rising in my chest, the kind that threatened to spiral into shouting. But somewhere deep inside, another feeling was taking root. Unease. Because her laugh at the party wasn't a laugh of someone making harmless banter. It was a laugh of someone distancing themselves, someone aligning with a different crowd, someone who wanted to look good at another's expense. And that man, the way she leaned in toward him, wouldn't leave my mind. Over the next few weeks, subtle changes began to gnaw at me. Emily stayed late at the office more often, claiming big projects or team deadlines. Her phone, once casually left on the coffee table, now remained face down, buzzing silently. She laughed at texts she never shared, her thumb flying quickly across the screen before locking it. When I asked, her answers were smooth, almost rehearsed. "Don't be paranoid. You know I love you. You're reading into things." But the unease only grew. I told myself I was imagining it, that the humiliation at the party had warped my perception, that I was seeing betrayal where there was none. But late at night, when she turned away from me in bed, her back a cold wall of silence, I couldn't shake the hollow ache in my chest. The breaking point came on a Thursday. Emily had told me she was going out for a work dinner. Something in her tone set me on edge, the too casual shrug, the deliberate avoidance of my eyes. I waited until she left, then followed at a distance, my heart hammering against my ribs like a warning drum. Her car led me downtown, to a quiet restaurant tucked on a side street. Through the window, I saw her slide into a booth, not with her boss, not with a group of colleagues, but with the same man from the party, the tall one with the loosened tie. They sat close, too close. Her laughter floated across the glass, and when his hand brushed hers on the table, she didn't pull away. She leaned in, smiling as if sharing a secret. My stomach dropped. I stood there on the sidewalk, the city rushing around me, horns blaring, people weaving past, my world narrowing to the sight of her hand in his. The truth hit like a sledgehammer. It wasn't just humiliation. It wasn't just banter. It was betrayal. I confronted her that night. She came home late, the faint scent of wine clinging to her hair. I was waiting in the living room, the dim lamp casting long shadows across the floor. How was the work dinner? I asked, my voice deceptively calm. She froze, just for a second, before plastering on a smile. Fine. Exhausting. Why are you still up? I stared at her, my jaw tight. I saw you, Emily, at the restaurant, with him. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. You followed me? Don't twist this. I snapped. You lied. You weren't at a work dinner. You were with him. Silence hung heavy between us. Her lips parted, closed, then parted again, as though searching for the right words. Finally, she sighed, exasperated. You're making this into something it's not. He's just a friend. A friend. My voice cracked. Do friends hold hands across the table? Do friends laugh like that, like they're the only two people in the room? Her face hardened. You don't understand. He listens to me. He respects me. You've been so wrapped up in your own world, in your computers and codes, you don't see me anymore. The words cut deep, sharper than I expected. And yet, even as guilt tried to creep in, anger burned brighter. So, your solution is to humiliate me in front of your coworkers? To sneak around with someone else behind my back? Her silence was the answer. The next few days blurred together, a haze of sleepless nights and raw emotions. She tried half-heartedly to explain, to insist it wasn't serious, that nothing really happened. But the image of them together, her laughter spilling like a secret only he could share, haunted me. Trust, once broken, doesn't mend. It shatters. And no matter how many times I turned it over in my mind, the pieces wouldn't fit back together. I began to see the relationship for what it had become. Fragile, brittle, built on illusions. I had loved her deeply, blindly even, but love can't survive in the shadow of betrayal. The final straw came when she laughed again, this time at me, not with me. We had gone to dinner with some mutual friends. The conversation drifted to careers, and once again, Emily smirked, tossing out a quip about how I spend more time talking to my computer than to actual people. The table chuckled politely, but my chest hollowed out. She hadn't learned, or maybe she didn't care. That night, I packed my things. She watched me from the doorway, her arms folded, her expression unreadable. So that's it? She asked softly. I zipped the suitcase shut. You humiliated me. You lied to me. You betrayed me. And you think I can stay? Her lips trembled, just for a moment, but she didn't stop me. Maybe she couldn't. I left the engagement ring on the nightstand, its small diamond catching the glow of the lamp. Once it had symbolized forever. Now it was just a circle of cold metal, empty of meaning. Walking out the door, I felt a strange mix of devastation and clarity. The life I thought I had, the future I thought was mine, was gone. But so was the illusion. The betrayal had broken me, but it had also freed me. As the night air hit my face, I breathed in deeply, feeling both the ache of loss and the sharp sting of truth. Some wounds never fully heal, but some endings, as brutal as they are the only way forward. And as I walked away from the woman who had humiliated and betrayed me, I realized sometimes shattering something is the only way to save yourself.